Thanks,
So
thanks, Dheesh, for being a part of this private equity webinar. And just a brief introduction about Dheesh, what he just said. Dheesh is a qualified CS and a qualified ACCA. He had initially worked with Tres Vista, Blackstone, COE Wipro, and RSM US LLP as well. Now he is a part of A91 Partners, that is an India-focused PE firm, and it is based out of Gift City, Gandhinagar. So thank you, Dheesh, for being with us today.
thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Perfect, Ish. So I'll just start with a basic question that everybody has. Private equity hota kya hai? What exactly is private equity? Like very briefly, if you can explain that.
Private equity is a, I'll do Hindi and English mix of benefit of the crowd. कुछ नहीं है, लोग पैसा दे रहे हैं मुझे. So we are institutional money and HNI or UHNI money that is being pooled into certain vehicles. And then the fund managers invest that money for the investors in different companies. So private equity and venture capital, the difference is only that the size or the quantum of the money that I'm giving to my portfolio companies increases significantly. So where a venture capital firm, or when I say venture capital firm, when they invest in startups, so जो startup होता है उनका stage of initial, मतलब जब वो stage हुआ है, जैसे let's say अगर मैं 3-4 साल पुरानी कंपनी, मेरा रेवेन्यू ऐसे 50 करोड़ है, so I'll count it as a venture capital firm. जैसे मेरा स्केल बड़ा हो जाता है, let's say it goes to 100 करोड़ 200 crores annually, or let's say 10-15 crores monthly type revenue हो जाता है, then you can class them as a growth equity. And that is what A91 Partners do. We do growth equity investing. So some of our portfolio companies you might have heard, it's Blue Tokoy, it's the Manch, and Jiva. So all of these companies have achieved those scales, and then we invested. And so basically private equity का ये है कि check size बड़ा हो जाता है, investing वही हो रही है, private companies में investing हो रही है, check size बड़ा हो गया उसमें. And big full blown private equity firms like Blackstone, EQT,
Yeah.
or EPGs of the world, they have much bigger people backing them. They have much bigger wallets, so they can also go into then private, or let's say public investing, so that they can directly start buying out like public companies altogether. So that is in brief what private equity is: investing into private companies, and if you have a lot of money, then also buying out or leverage buyout of public companies.
Understood, Dheesh. That was very helpful. Another question that I have is we see a lot of finance professionals, MBA professionals, CA, CS, CMA, all of these professionals, ये सारे professionals ही, they're working somewhere in the private equity, either middle office or back office. We know
Yeah.
a lot of companies, they are operating either through a third party or a captive unit in India. How do you make that switch from a back office, middle office to a front office? ये सबसे बड़ा pressing question रहता है. We see a lot of talented professionals जिंदगी भर वही back office, middle office में रहते हैं. How do you make that switch? उसके लिए क्या skills चाहिए? कोई degree चाहिए? ऐसा क्या हम extra कर सकते हैं to make that switch?
See, definitely having a degree, having any professional degree is a plus. Without that, it's very difficult to then market yourself as well in front of the people you are interviewing with, right? But the other biggest thing is that you will have to find your edge. Your edge could be anything. Your Excel skills could be your edge. Your presentation skills could be your edge. Your knowledge of any business or any sector in specific. Let's say consumer के ऊपर है, मेरा consumer में बहुत अच्छी पकड़ है, और I have very strong hold on, let's say, technology company. I understand AI really well. I understand ML really well. So you will have to find your edge and define your edge. And that is only, and you'll have to market yourself really well. To be out there, you'll have to do whatever you can to market yourself to the people who are looking out for professionals or who are hiring for these kind of roles, right? I also landed up this job via communication and via connecting with people. It wasn't a opportunity that fell in my lap. So you will have to at least do one or the other professional degree. The other thing is you'll have to build your edge. It could be anything, but you'll have to make sure that you have in-depth knowledge of that specific thing that you are defining is your edge, right? The other thing is that you'll have to be very good at communication and connecting with people, like the professional connections job bana rahe ho, using LinkedIn for what it is actually meant to do, and not people's posts and commenting great or good, right? Actually connecting with people, trying to build that community of people, trying to build those connections will actually help you out. to land a private equity job. And last but not the least is a little bit of luck. Can't deny that a little bit of luck is very important as well. That is, I think, in essence, चार ही चीजें हैं. यही है, डिग्री है, कम्युनिकेशन है, edge.
Understood. I
That
think
is
that was
yeah.
cool. Understood. I think that was very helpful. Dheesh, how important do you think is communication? A lot of us struggle in Hindi communication or English communication. How important do you think that? Like out of
So,
10,
out of 10, it's 11. I'm not
okay,
kidding. The communication part is very, very important. If you can't speak a couple of paragraphs properly to a person, and when we're saying we're moving to the front office, you are directly communicating with the portfolio companies, their CEOs, their CFOs, right? You're also
understood.
communicating to institutional level investors, eh, big institutional investors who are managing billions and billions of dollars, who are LPs in your fund. You're communicating it with them. So then you will have to make sure that your communication is on point. You can communicate, or you can actually get your point across to the person you are telling the thing to, right? If I'm not able to like put my point across, there is no point of communication. Like आप बता क्या रहे हो, बोल क्या रहे हो, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया तो मतलब क्या उस चीज का.
Understood.
It,
Understood.
it's very,
Deesh,
very,
we
very
have a question.
yeah.
Sorry. We have a question from Srijani. She's asking, can you please elaborate on back office and middle office and how the work is distinguished in terms of, I think, front office?
See, back office and middle office is all of your fund admin हो गया, आपका legal compliance हो गया जो outsourced होती है. So basically, a private equity or a front office private equity fund doesn't have a lot of payroll strength, और basically वो बोलते हैं ना कि मेरे पास बड़ी teams नहीं होती. I don't have a big team. Or at A91 Partners, we are just 21 people, right? We don't have a very big team, but everything of our non-critical function, that is, let's say accounting हो गया, legal compliance हो गया, my drafting हो गया, any of those sorts are outsourced. So those could be outsourced to any back office. Let's say some of the names are CPX, SSNC. तो ये middle office back office functions ये लोग handle कर लेते हैं. Accounting, those are all your back office and middle office functions that we say. And basically आपको you're not expected to work or execute things in front end roles. You're expected to review those things that are being sent across to you. So that is one major critical difference between the two things.
Understood. I think just to quote an example, like you mentioned accounting, so most of the requests of this webinar came that was from the accounting professionals, like people who are especially in fund accounting. So
Yeah,
like doing fund accounting, doing journal entries, making even balance sheet, like up until that point also everything is a part of back office and middle office. And
correct,
these you would also have this experience, like you would go out, present that balance sheet to investors, be on board meetings with them, discuss
correct,
about how much the profit or loss the fund has endured, how much
mm,
it is charged on management fee, how much it
correct,
has gone up on those numbers from the last time. So going out there, presenting them to investors, HNIs, those everything all of that sort, that is a part of the
front end
front
role.
office.
Yes, exactly. You put it right. Like, that's the best way to, I think, summarize it. What you're doing is front back office and middle office में आप किसी को जाके present नहीं करिए, just preparing stuff. When you move to the front of it, you then need to justify it, right? Justify it and then tell it to people कि ये ऐसे है, ये ऐसे है, ऐसा.
Okay. Deesh, we have another question. Sorry, guys, I just request everyone to please mute themselves. Okay, thanks. We have a question from Anirudh as well. As a CA working in IT sector, IT audit, how can I enter into private equity? Which domain to target to switch to private equity later? That's a very good question, Deesh.
IT audit, I genuinely don't have an idea of how you can switch, but if you have a skill that can be marketed, if you know IT sector in and out, you can build financial models, you can create a case study of sorts, you can build a business plan for anything, you can break down a business. Let's say अगर आप IT में काम कर रहे हो, CA की तरह काम कर रहे हो, you know the financial side of it, right? So if you were to enter, you should know कि चलो मैं I'll take Infosys, Infosys को मैं ऐसे पूरा dissect करूँगा, I'll understand each and every thing that Infosys does, how it does it, how can it do it better, and then maybe do like replicate that stuff to smaller IT companies. You'll have to keep your edge. Like I would say that would be your edge. आप IT में काम करो तो आपका IT audit का वो होगा, आपको समझ में आएगी वो चीज़ है. We might not get it, you might, right? So you'll have to define your edge over there. Build certain case studies, build models, build projections. अगर आपको वो चीज़ों में इंटरेस्ट आने लगे, then you can start reaching out to recruiters and everyone and be like यार मेरे को ये सब में मज़ा आता है, मैंने ये काम किया अभी तक, can you please check it, and if you think it's viable and worth it, can you please schedule something for me. That is, I think, what would the approach look like.
Okay, Dheesh, one more question. Like you raised a very important point here. Reach out to recruiters and send them your work. Do you
Yeah,
think that it helps? And how can we do it? Like, थोड़ा सा इस पे elaborate करो. How can we reach out to recruiters and how can we, show them our work?
show them your work. See, basically आपका जो एक पेजर का सीवी बनता है, वन पेजर if you are a fresher, और 1.5 pages, 2 pages if you are experienced for 5 years हो गया आपका. तो I'll be brutally honest, I've seen so many bad CVs in my life that it hurts. People have not spell checked it. People have not formatted it correctly. And when I'm making a case in front of any recruiter, right? Let's say work दिखाने का तो पहले बाद में बात आएगा, right? सबसे पहले तो मेरा CV या resume मांगेगा, right? तो उसमें ही I see so much, मतलब ऐसे people are just, मतलब वो घास काट रहे हो ना ऐसे, तो वो कुछ भी करके बना के दे दिया कि बस हो जाएगा and leave everything on hope, which doesn't work, right? So you first have to first figure out your CV. It has to be bulletproof, legit bulletproof CV होना चाहिए कि अगर AK-47 से भी गोली चली है ना तो CV के आगे नहीं जा पाए. It should be so solid in that sense. And then building your work is, you start building things. You start creating models. You start creating pitches. Anything and everything that you think uh, you are good at and you can do or define, मतलब वो आप अलग से कर सकते हो, किसी और दूसरे से बेटर कर सकते हो. तो वो सब चीजें बनाओ, एक ड्राइव में डाल दो, प्रोवाइड दैट ड्राइव लिंक टू द रिक्रूटर. एंड अगर आपका सीवी शॉर्टलिस्ट हो गया तो देन शी विल सेंड दैट टू द लाइक हायरिंग टीम एज वेल, राइट?
Understood. And
यार
you can
ये
always
आई
do
थिंक दिस
cold
गाय.
mails.
Cold mails work, doesn't work all the time, but they do work. That is, तो they do work. And वही है कि आपका ईमेल कितना स्ट्राइकिंग हो सकता है ना, यू ट्राई टू मेक इट एज स्ट्राइकिंग. बट स्ट्राइकिंग का मतलब ये नहीं है कुछ भी उटपटांग चीजें लिख के और फिर आप
Okay.
स्टार्ट करो. You build up a email that is very communicative, very clear in the message that it is trying to put across. तो अगर वो सब है तो I don't think so, then you stand a chance. It's not a guaranteed thing. Nothing in life is guaranteed, right? But you still stand a chance.
Understood, Dheesh.
And
Um,
to be very frank, when we say private equity, no, private equity front end है ना, front end तो if you look at it, no, इंडिया में टोटल 2 या 2,500 प्रोफेशनल जो फ्रंट एंड पे मूव कर पाए आज की तारीख में. CA, CFAs, MBAs. एंड MBA is not also ऐसे वैसे कॉलेज से, मतलब टॉप हार्वर्ड, वॉर्टन, स्टैनफोर्ड, IIM ABC के गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट टाइप लोग, राइट? बट ऐसा नहीं है कि वो ही लोग हैं. एक प्राइवेट इक्विटी फंड जब खड़ा होता है तो उसके साथ एक फंड फाइनेंस डिवीजन भी होता है, फंड ऑपरेशंस भी होता है. यू कैन ट्राई देयर एज वेल, राइट? इट्स नॉट कि वो सब चीजें छोटी है. आप वहां पे भी मूव कर गए ना तो देन ऑल्सो लाइफ चेंजेस अ लॉट. मतलब
yes,
you see a very different life altogether.
understood. Dheesh, we'll move quick to the next question. I'm a CA working with Big Four Global. I audit private equity, hedge funds, and mutual funds clients based out of US. How
Hmm.
can I transition from PE auditor to client-facing roles in PE firm?
I think that is what I did also. Uh, my I thought my fund accounting and everything was very, very good, and I was able to build automations or things around that, right? So I marketed that for myself to people who were actually looking to hire. I first joined RSM, right, which was setting up a new team in the fund admin space. I joined there, then I got landed an opportunity via connections, people at A91. Then I mentioned कि मैं ये करता हूँ, ये चीज़ें मुझे आती है, I can build that for you. I made my case in the sense कि what value do I bring to the table? If you can add value as a chartered accountant, you will definitely add value, but you will have to define what value you bring to the table, right? 5, 10 points. that you think that you can do really well, start reaching out to people and take it from there. And recruiters, because I think what that is a trend that I have looked at is most of the PVC firms don't HR team of themselves, right? वो खुद अपना HR team check करते हैं, वो recruiters hire करते हैं, consultants hire करते हैं, which find or scout people for them. So you will have to then reach out to those people, show, and still coming back to the original point कि आपका CV इतना strong होना चाहिए कि वो scan हो जाए, filter through हो जाए through that initial recruiter or initial consultant वाला filter. If that works, then you can move forward and basically अगर आपका communication अच्छा है तो आपको chance तो मिल ही जाएगा. And if 10 people are getting interviewed, you make your edge, you then get into the firm, right? That's how I will, if I were you, or if a chartered accountant working in a big four, that is how, because you already have the brand name. So that is how I would approach this thing.
Perfect. Deesh, we have another question. Do we have any certifications for PE fund accounting?
There's no certifications for PE fund accounting. As such, कोई fund certifications होता नहीं है. आपको accounting तो वही debit credit ही है. उसके आगे कुछ है नहीं debit credit के अलावा, right? आप कोई भी certification कर लो, you do a CFA, you do a CA, you do a CS not so relevant, but still you do any accounting, CMA हो गया, ACC हो गया, right? All of those courses can help you make a case because you basically get वो brush up हो जाता है. अकाउंटिंग तो सभी कर लेते हैं, कॉमर्स जिसने 11th 12th पढ़ी उसको अकाउंटिंग तो समझती होगी, राइट? अगर पास हुआ है तो. बट बिटवीन दैट एंड दी people who are very good at accounting, people who are very good at understanding laws,
sorry to cut you in between. People say certification like NISM. So I think
not
for
required.
NISM,
Those are legit. वो सिर्फ दिखाने के लिए होते हैं. Those certifications are not so useful actually. Because
okay.
वो standard of exam is first the curricular there is very old. ऐसा कुछ नया ground breaking curricular होता नहीं है. दूसरा, the exam is not so tough. If you sit for 2 weeks with a book, you can clear any NISM certifications. That is my
Yes,
assumption. Not assumption, to a certain extent. I gave
even
my
I have
NISM.
an NISM certification. So I can vouch for that. You just need to study 2 days, and I did some investment advisory
Correct.
certification AMB.
That is
But
very
like,
basic knowledge. You don't get real.
but yeah,
War would.
just to add, like if you are a fresher, you are a fresher C or fresher MBA, and you are looking to get into fund accounting industry. That's a back office, middle office fund accounting industry. You can do those certifications. It wouldn't hurt. But
It wouldn't hurt.
he's just saying
See, any
to a
certification
front
wouldn't hurt
office,
at all.
but right to a front office, वो उतना matter नहीं करेंगे. For front
Correct.
office, it doesn't matter. For
करेक्ट.
a
फ्रंट
back
ऑफिस
office,
में
middle
अगर
office,
फ्रंट ऑफिस से आपको मूव करना है एज अ फंड अकाउंटेंट प्रोफेशनल, can you build a waterfall model for me in let's say 2 hours or not? Can you do that?
hmm,
If not, then probably you should work on your Excel skills and figure out. क्योंकि private equity fund accounting में the only challenge that is a waterfall model. If you
it's
can't build
like
a waterfall model altogether, then there is no point of having 10,000 certifications, right? And if you can't
correct.
understand a LPA, you can't understand a PPM, you can't read through it, make notes of it, present your case out of it. अगर कोई चीज अटक गई, you can't, मतलब basically अगर मेन फंड डॉक्यूमेंट्स कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन एग्रीमेंट है, एलपी हो गया, पीपीएम हो गया, जो मेन मतलब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डॉक्यूमेंट्स होते हैं एक फंड के, अगर आप वो पढ़ नहीं सकते, आप एक फाइनेंशियल मॉडल नहीं, फाइनेंशियल मॉडल तो दूर की बात होगी, अगर आप वाटरफॉल मॉडल नहीं बना सकते, देन एवरीथिंग इज इन वेन, राइट? यू देन नो सर्टिफिकेशंस हेल्प यू आउट.
They understood, Dheesh. That helps. Dheesh, we have another good question. Career path for a CA fresher to enter into private equity and skills required for that. Also, इसमें मैं add करना चाहती हूँ for a CA fresher or an MBA fresher as well. What do you recommend? Directly head into front office? Yeah, that entry is difficult. So पहले back office, middle office से start करना चाहिए and then move your way to the
Entry is
front.
anyway difficult if you're not a टॉप 50 चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट रैंक, मतलब AIR 1
Yeah,
to 50 नहीं है आपका, तो आपका PVC टाइप स्पेस में घुसना वैसे ही मुश्किल है. सेकंड, इफ यू नॉट एन MBA फ्रॉम टॉप इंस्टीट्यूट्स, मतलब टॉप ऑफ द
of
टॉप,
course.
लाइक जो अपने ABC हो गया, ISBs हो गए वर्ल्ड
Yeah.
के, या फिर यू नॉट वर्कड इनटू कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स, वो जो आपको पेडिग्री चाहिए, या नॉट वर्कड एट बिग फोर्स का कंसल्टिंग, इट एनीवे इज डिफिकल्ट. That is the reality. That is nothing but the reality. अब how do you break that barrier is कि आप जहाँ पे you first build work तो बिल्ड करना
So
चालू करो.
credible work
डोंट
experience.
वेट अराउंड फॉर गेटिंग दैट फैंसी प्राइवेट इक्विटी फंड एंड रोल, तभी आप अपना करियर स्टार्ट करोगे. स्टार्ट योर करियर. You then keep looking out for opportunities wherever and whenever they strike. Start. I've seen people get good opportunities from cold emailing, right? One of my friends got into a smaller VC firm. First, I can give quote two examples. One of my friends got into a Gurgaon-based VC firm. He started there as an investor relations guy. He gradually upgraded himself to a portfolio monitoring person. Now he's a front-end deal maker, right? So that was a transition, and it wasn't a small transition, it was a 6, 7 years transition, right? The other story is not directly related to me, but a friend of my brother, right? He started at a back office or a middle office role at some firm. He then sat for 4 months, build solid case studies and build very amazing knowledge base of edtech companies, then pitched his ideas to, I think, one of the smaller PE firms. Not the smaller PE firms, VC firms जो होते हैं ना जिनका capital size छोटा होता है, उनको pitch किया. He started there as a research intern. He then got promoted as a research analyst, right? So that is how you up start करो अपना काम. You start building out whatever knowledge base you have, right? And do very in detail understanding of it, and then you build it from there. Then you join or you start looking out for companies, and वहां से फिर आप कोई भी रोल में ऐड करो. वहां पे जाकर आपको नई नई चीजें सीखने को मिलेगी. और आपका जो भी इंटरेस्ट है, आप 5 घंटे काम करोगे, 5 घंटे और लगा के वो इंटरेस्ट में भी काम करो, राइट? And then internally you can take moves, right? That is not difficult, but getting there is difficult. Internal movements difficult, but not so difficult of actually getting an entry. So yeah, I think that is the way to go.
Perfect. Dheesh, we had a follow-up question to that. So what domains to target? Do you think initially domains like accounting, investor relation, audit, such domains are easier to target, and then you work into that and then you move to
Hard
the
to
same?
define, legit very hard to define. वो उस पे डिपेंड नहीं करेगा कि जो कंपनीज लुकआउट कर रही है उनके पास ओपनिंग्स किस तरह की है, राइट? अगर उनके
Understood.
पास ओपनिंग अकाउंटिंग की, तो आपके अकाउंटिंग वाले बंदों को चांस मिलेगा. अगर उनके पास ओपनिंग इन्वेस्टर रिलेशंस की, तो देन इन्वेस्टर रिलेशन पीपल विल गेट अहेड, राइट? एंड सच
The
सो
idea is to build on your skill. आप जो कर
बिल्ड
रहे
ऑन
हैं
योर
आप
स्किल. वॉट
उसको
एवर यू
build
हैव, वॉट एवर
on.
स्किल यू हैव, यू शुड बी दी बेस्ट. अगर आपको आगे कोई बोले ना कि ये कैसे हुआ, लेट्स से अगर मैं वाटरफॉल मॉडल बनाना आ गया मुझे, तो हर टाइप का वाटरफॉल मॉडल बनाना आ गया, यूरोपियन, अमेरिकन,
Hmm.
अलग अलग फंड स्ट्रक्चर्स का, मास्टर फीडर का,
Building the whole fund structure, सब
या डील
you
बाय
should
डील,
be able
जो
to.
भी है, मतलब I should be then very good at it. There
Yeah.
shouldn't be any doubts in my mind कि यार मेरे को आता है कि नहीं आता. Let's say people throw information at me, can I build that model or not for them? That is where the criticality comes in.
Understood. Thish, we have another chat. What if I start as an intern at a boutique firm, gained experience over time in a particular sector? Will it work for me to get a front-end role?
Ideally it should. मतलब
Yeah.
that is how people start their careers, right? वो intern की तरह काम करते हैं, वहां पे धीरे धीरे knowledge base अपना बढ़ा लेते हैं. फिर over a period of time, once they get promoted or get absorbed either within that boutique firm or not, if not, then start at a smaller firm, smaller fund to say. फिर वहां से gradually और बड़े fund में या firm में they get an opportunity. So it is a cycle. You will have to start somewhere. The biggest part is starting somewhere, right? And then probably building out from there. अगर start ही नहीं करोगे तो फिर कैसे होगा? And if you have a boutique investment firm का experience, then that adds value to your CV, right?
Yes. Thish, we also have one other reply on that. How, as a CA finalist, I can do that? Like if I am in CA final right now, how can I do that?
या पहले अपना सीए खत्म कर लो, सीधी बात है. डोंट इधर उधर मुंह मारने की जगह और इधर उधर ज्यादा दिमाग लगाने की जगह फर्स्ट फर्स्ट फिनिश अप योर सीए फाइनल. एंड if you can, try to get a rank.
Yes.
That
That,
will
that is
probably
the
help
whole
more than,
different than anything.
huh? That is a
That is
brutal
a
answer.
different thing.
या दैट इज रियलिटी. वो सीए ही खत्म नहीं हुआ, फिर वो आधा इंटरमीडिएट सीए का वैसे भी बचता नहीं कुछ है. देयर आर लॉट मोर half intermediate CAs than actual CAs, right? So either
Right.
first focus should be on completing your chartered accountancy, right? Before anything else.
Understood. Dish, I have one more question, and that is from me. Okay, एक relevant है इसमें. Like we've already given our exams for final, and अभी हमारे पास time है. That is a very good question. Like अभी हमें कि नवंबर से लेकर जैन तक का हम utilize करें time, तो क्या कर सकते हैं? Like what these students can do?
Read newspapers, read articles, read businesses, open any of the businesses. अभी चलो प्राइवेट का तो आपके पास एक्सेस ना हो, बट पब्लिक कंपनीज का तो एक्सेस है, राइट? ऑल द डेटा इज अवेलेबल ईदर ऑन देयर वेबसाइट, ईदर ऑन दी बीएससी एनएससी वेबसाइट, ईदर ऑन एनी स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस का वेबसाइट, राइट? वहां पे जाओ, pick a sector, start reading all the companies in that sector, start building out your case for that sector, right? कि क्या है, क्या ग्रोथ रेट रहेगी, क्या assumptions हो सकते हैं, what works, what doesn't work, anything and everything below that umbrella you can start reading and start. Basically you should be well read and well communicative of what you've read. उससे आपका एंट्री का चांस बनेगा.
Understood. We have 10 more minutes for the call. My Zoom has given me a timer reminder. Deej, मुझे भी लगता है, like, I feel a lot of us as chartered accountants or any finance professionals, हम पढ़ते तो बहुत कुछ है, but हम उसका application बहुत कम करते हैं. So what if we can bridge the gap? Just open an Excel, try making models out of that, try जो हमने SFM accounting वगैरह में जो knowledge gain करी है, उसको हम actually implement करें. And like Deej said, upload it on Google Drive and उसका link just share it with the recruiter or just put it on your resume. At least your resume would stand out. At least ये लगेगा आपने कुछ extra किया है. Like what extra are you doing other than जो 10,000 chartered accountants आपके साथ pass हो रहे हैं, MBA professionals या CA professionals? What is the edge that is making you stand out on that? Okay, we have another question. Would US CPA help in my career path and how can it help? Is it worth investing 4 lakhs on US CPA?
फर्स्ट आई डोंट नो कि 4 लाख ही लगते हैं, मेरे को तो आज पता चला है कि 4 लाख लगते हैं यार. एनी डिग्री इज अ डिग्री ऑन पेपर. आप उसके अंदर क्या वैल्यू ऐड करते हो आफ्टर यू गेट दैट डिग्री इज व्हाट एक्चुअली एंड्स अप हैपनिंग, राइट? मैं अगर पैसे देके 4 लाख रुपए देके अगर खरीद सकता डिग्री एंड दैट बिल्ड्स माय वैल्यू, देन नथिंग लाइक इट, राइट? अगर वो डिग्री से मुझे कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा विच विल ऐड वैल्यू टू माय करियर, देन आई शुड डू दैट डिग्री, राइट? इट कुड बी एनीथिंग, यूएससीपी हो सकता है, सीएमए हो सकता है, एसीसी हो सकता है, इट कुड बी एनी अदर डिग्री. सो ऐसे डिग्री के पीछे भागना नहीं है, होना अच्छी बात है बट ऐसे भागना नहीं है उसके पीछे, सिर्फ
Understood.
ऑन
Okay.
पेपर पे लेके नहीं रखना है.
Cool. These some rapid fire questions from my side, which I want to ask you. Okay, so the first question goes to degree or skill. What do you think is more important?
10,000% skilled.
Okay. Um, Automation or core knowledge. What do you think is more important?
Core knowledge combined with automation.
Okay, okay. And Excel or any new fancy tool like Power BI. What is more important?
Excel at the start of it, because Excel is the genesis of all the softwares out there. जो भी नया सॉफ्टवेयर आता है, that is only trying to replace Excel, nothing else. अगर आपका Excel अच्छा है, आपको VB आता है, मैक्रो आता है, you can do Power Automate, you can build fancy dashboards. Power BI is nothing but a fancier version of Excel where you can
Okay, 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 okay,
कलर
okay.
ज्यादा डाल सकते हो.
Cool, 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 cool. Communication or skill? Core skill, like core knowledge. What is more important?
Core knowledge, but I think communication is out there as well, because if you're not, आई थिंक इट्स 50-50 टाई होगा, क्योंकि अगर आपको
Okay,
कोर्स की आपको कम्युनिकेट करना नहीं आता तो भी नहीं होगा, और कम्युनिकेट करना आता है
cool.
बट कोर्स नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं होगा.
Understood. Okay. Now top 5 skills, and we'll try to keep it short because the timer is running. So top 5 skills that you like it, just give it in one line. Top 5 skills that you feel is important to make a career in PE.
स्किल्स इन द सेंस, एक तो आपका कम्युनिकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट?
Okay.
दी सेकंड इज यू शुड फाइनेंस नॉलेज, आपका कोर फाइनेंस का जो नॉलेज है, राइट? देन योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ ब्रेकिंग डाउन एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिजनेसेस, राइट? बेसिकली आपका क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग एबिलिटी जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. देन योर, आई थिंक कम्युनिकेशन, बट कम्युनिकेशन को आप दो में ब्रेक कर दो तो चार कर देना उंगली को, ऐसे वर्बल भी और रिटर्न भी.
Okay.
ठीक है. एंड द फिफ्थ वन इज बिल्डिंग आउट कनेक्शन विद पीपल. बिल्डिंग आउट कनेक्शन
Okay.
विद पीपल बिकॉज वो बहुत बाद में आके जिंदगी में वो बहुत काम आएगा बाद में आगे जाके.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.